As part of the Capitol renovation, the third floor east wing has been opened up with spaces for the public, including this gallery space. The current exhibit, Sleeping Giant, is a collection of images from the Iron Range by photographer Vance Gellert, who is joining me here. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
What was the impetus behind this collection?
Way back in 2003, I was waiting to interview an artist, and I was driving around by Grand Rapids, and I found the Coleraine mines, and I thought, what is this? It was beautiful, the various buildings that remained, and I thought, I have to come back and do this. It was the visual beauty of it that started this whole thing. They call them low-grade stockpiles of hematite. They're just like a little mountain range that runs up from Grand Rapids to actually Babbitt, I think is the furthest northeast end. And these beautiful vermilion pits with the blue water in the bottom. They were just automatically something to photograph.
So you said the landscape drew you, and then you spent about 2 years photographing it. What are you hoping, what about the Iron Range captured your attention?
Well, it's like any photographic project. You get attracted to it, then you realize it is a big story that I'd like to tell, and then I sort of follow it. I don't have a plan. I go up and discover. I talk to people, I drive around and look at things, and people recommend people I should talk to, and it just develops.
So in addition to the landscape, though, there's also, you wrote about the 43 nationalities who lived in this area, inhabited this area, worked in these mines, and all the different cultures that are represented. How did you convey that through these pictures?
And that was fascinating how that all evolved. And in a way, there's a lot of cultural competition, maybe a little animosity, which bars you could go to. But it was a classic way of getting labor. It always has been. They blanketed Europe and other places with leaflets, come to northern Minnesota, and the streets are paved with gold.
So you also cover a little bit the first people, the Ojibwe people who were here, who are the title of this exhibit, The Sleeping Giant.
Right. Well, I thought when I was doing the project, as I was going along, I thought, I haven't got a native perspective. I mean, they were here first. And we came in first, we cut down virtually every pine that was there, and then we kind of ripping these holes in the ground. And so I found my way to actually Bois Forte Reservation up in, it's near Lake Vermilion, and I ran into Donald Choza. I was directed to him. And that was the most amazing experience of this whole project, being with him as he walked me through his tribal lands and his family burial place, and he talked about the spirits and the water. And as that was going on, I was getting goosebumps and thinking, if I could have just one drop of that blood in me, I could understand and feel this like he is, and have that attachment. And then he gave me two of the best pictures in the show. And I call them that because...
And you mean the one where he's just standing with that look on his face?
With his eyes closed and a look of serenity that I didn't ask for. And certainly it's an anathema for a photographer for the eyes to be closed if you don't plan on it. And when I first looked at the negative and said most of this was shot on film, with a loop, it's like, oh my God, his eyes are closed. And then I printed it and said, oh my God, that's beautiful. Because it really conveyed the spirit he was inviting in me that I understood, but could never be part of.
Beyond those photographs that you were just explaining, do you have another one or two that are favorites?
I really like this show. It's a package deal, you might say. But I guess some things, sometimes it's the personal experience that happened, not the power of the picture. And I'm always, caught up in that a viewer wouldn't know what happened when I was taking the picture, how that happened to happen, that there's so many gifts, like Donald Choza. I do like the one of the panorama of the housing development on the pit of the mine, because as mining began, towns would spring up next to them, and sooner or later the towns would disappear because as one guy said, the towns became a hole in the ground. Or in the case of Hibbing, they moved the entire town south, had to destroy some buildings. They built the most beautiful high school in the world, which that picture attests to, and the city council or city hall was beautiful too. But and here, what you're seeing here is the town's retaking the mine, and they're paying for the view, you might say, because there's a picture next to it, which is off of one of the patios. They call it their little Grand Canyon, and so that speaks a lot to that cycle of development as the mining began, and the towns would come up, and then the towns would disappear, and then the mines would play out, and the towns come back.
People who come see this exhibit, what do you want them to walk away with?
I want them to realize what the range is, the beauty of the range, and that historic content that it has, how historic it is for us, maybe even more important than the milling industry that we all hear about here in Minneapolis. But we ignore up north. We feel, oh, it's depressed. The people have left, haven't they? And it's the most vibrant area. And I wanted the pictures to capture that. And I think it does. I feel very proud of this project. I feel proud that I was allowed to do it. I call it that sometimes when you see such an amazing series of photographs standing in front of you and there's no other photographer in front of you. I said, where is everybody? So I did it and took my time and really enjoyed myself.